All right, let's get right into it. Today we're tackling a giant of literature, George Orwell's Animal Farm. Now, this is a story that starts with this incredible, beautiful dream of freedom. But as you'll see, it ends with a really chilling lesson about what happens when power gets into the wrong hands.
And really, this is the question that sits at the very heart of Animal Farm. You've got this group of animals, right? They managed to overthrow their cruel human master, and they're aiming to build this perfect world, a paradise of total equality and justice. But things don't exactly go to plan. They watch it all just crumble away into something much, much worse.
So where does a revolution even start? In this case, it all begins with this one powerful speech. It comes from Old Major, a really wise, respected old pig. He gets all the animals of Manor Farm together and, he plants that first seed of rebellion. He paints this incredible picture of what the world could be like, a world totally free from human control.
And look, to really get why they wanted this dream so badly, you have to understand just how awful their reality was. Life under their owner, Mr. Jones, was, Old Major summed it up perfectly. Miserable, laborious, and short. I mean, let's be real. These animals were basically slaves. They were worked to the bone until they couldn't work anymore, and then they were slaughtered.
Okay, so after Old Major passes away, the smartest animals on the farm, the pigs, take his ideas and they turn them into a full-blown philosophy. They call it animalism. And this wasn't just some fuzzy, feel-good idea. No, it was a complete system of thought, with a very clear core principle. Every single animal is equal, and all humans are the enemy. Simple as that.
So, you've got the dream. You've got the philosophy all laid out. All that's left is to make it happen. But here's the thing about revolutions. They don't always wait for a perfect plan. This one, it happened way sooner than anyone was expecting.
It all goes down one night when Mr. Jones, drunk as usual, forgets to feed them. The animals are starving, and they just snap. They bust into the store shed to get some food, and when Jones and his men come at them with whips, that's it. The animals fight back with everything they have, and they actually do it. They chase the humans right off the property in total terror. And just like that, the farm is theirs. They rename it Animal Farm.
Now, to make sure this new utopia of theirs would actually stick, they needed some rules, some unchangeable laws. So the pigs, who've cleverly taught themselves to read and write, paint these 7 commandments right on the side of the big barn for everyone to see. Think of it as their constitution. This was supposed to be the absolute bedrock of their new society. Okay, so the humans are out of the picture. Naturally, leadership falls to the smartest animals around, the pigs. And 2 in particular step up, Snowball and Napoleon. Both are brilliant, but here's the problem. While they both believed in animalism, their ideas about what to do next, they couldn't have been more different.
And this right here, this is the conflict that's going to end up dooming the whole revolution. You've got Snowball, who's the big picture guy, the idealist. He's dreaming of building a windmill and modernizing the farm. And then you have Napoleon. He's all about one thing, control, gaining power and keeping it. This clash between them, it's going to set the stage for everything that follows.
And for a little while, it actually worked. The farm was a huge success. Their first harvest was bigger than any Jones ever managed, and the animals, for the first time, were actually happy. But it couldn't last, could it? The very first signs of trouble were already starting to bubble up to the surface, these tiny little changes that hinted at something much darker on the horizon.
And it all started with something so small, the milk and the apples. Suddenly, the pigs announced that all the milk and apples have to be reserved just for them. Why? Because they're the brain workers, you see. And they have this incredibly persuasive pig named Squealer. This guy could talk anyone into anything, who goes around explaining that if the pigs aren't at peak health, they'll fail and then Jones will come back. And just like that, you have the very first tiny crack in that perfect foundation of equality.
And once that first crack appeared, the whole dam just burst. The slide into total tyranny was shockingly fast. First, Napoleon unleashes this private army of 9 vicious dogs he's been training in secret, and they chase Snowball off the farm forever. Then, boom, the Democratic Sunday meetings, gone, abolished. Not long after that, he starts these terrifying public executions. Animals who dare to question him are forced to confess to made-up crimes and are then killed right in front of everyone. And the final nail in the coffin, even their song of rebellion, Beasts of England, is banned. The dream was officially over.
So you might be asking, wait, how did he get away with all this? I mean, they had rules, right? Commandments. How do you justify straight-up murder when one of your laws forbids it?
The answer is as simple as it is chilling. You just rewrite the law.
And this was Napoleon's genius, in a twisted sort of way. His mouthpiece, Squealer, would sneak out in the middle of the night and just add a couple of words to the end of the commandment. So when the other animals would say, "Hey, I thought the rule was," they were just told, "Oh, you must be remembering it wrong." It was textbook gaslighting. And suddenly, those public executions weren't a crime anymore. They were perfectly legal according to the new old law.
And they did it again and again. Like when the pigs started living in the farmhouse, sleeping in actual beds. The other animals were like, "Hold on, isn't that against the rules?" But a quick look at the barn wall showed the commandment actually said, "No animal shall sleep in a bed with sheets." And Squealer would pop up and say, "Oh, it's fine, we took the sheets off. See how it works?" Little by little, every rule was bent, every crime was justified just by changing the past.
If you want to understand the total, heartbreaking betrayal of this revolution, you just have to look at the story of one animal, Boxer. He's this incredibly strong and loyal cart horse, and his fate, it's the perfect, tragic symbol of how the ones who worked the hardest were used up and then just thrown away.
I mean, Boxer was the heart and soul of Animal Farm. His strength was legendary, and his belief in the cause never, ever wavered. He inspired everyone. His personal mottos were literally, "I will work harder," and "Napoleon is always right." No matter what went wrong, his solution was just to work harder and to trust the leadership. You couldn't ask for a more loyal follower.
But all that work takes its toll. After years of literally breaking his back for the farm, Boxer's lung collapses. Napoleon puts on a big show, promising to send him to the best animal hospital around. But when the van comes to pick him up, it's the wise old donkey Benjamin, the one who can read, who sees the writing on the side. It's not an ambulance. It says Alfred Simmons, horse slaughterer and glue boiler. They weren't saving him. They sold him to be killed.
The animals are absolutely horrified. But of course, Squealer has a story ready. He claims the vet just bought the van from the knacker and hadn't had time to repaint it. It's an obvious lie, but then he spins this heroic, completely made-up tale of Boxer's last moments, even claiming his last words were, "Long live Comrade Napoleon." And the most disgusting part? The pigs take the money they got from selling their most loyal worker's body and use it to buy more whiskey.
So years go by. Most of the animals who were even alive during the rebellion are gone now. The farm is technically richer, but that wealth only goes to the pigs and the dogs. For everyone else, life is just as hard as it was under Jones, if not harder. The dream is basically a forgotten myth. And then, the final, unbelievable transformation happens.
One evening, the animals see something so shocking, so unnatural, it freezes them in their tracks. It's Squealer, walking on his hind legs, and then more pigs come out of the farmhouse, all walking on 2 legs. And finally, Napoleon himself appears, majestically upright, carrying a whip. They have become men. They have become the very enemy they fought to destroy.
And right at that moment, just as the other animals are trying to process this horror, the sheep start bleating a new chant that Squealer has been teaching them in secret. It's a complete reversal of their old slogan. The propaganda is total. The last shred of the original rebellion has just been wiped from existence.
And when they look over at the big barn, the 7 commandments are just gone, painted over. And in their place is a single, new commandment that sums everything up. It is the absolute, cynical core of this new world. The revolution is officially complete, having come full circle, simply replacing one tyrant with another.
The book ends with one of the most powerful scenes in all of literature. The pigs are hosting a dinner party with the human farmers from next door. The other animals peek through the farmhouse window, and they see pigs and men laughing, drinking, playing cards together. And as they look from the pigs to the men and back from the men to the pigs, they realize they can no longer tell which is which. And that leaves us with the story's final, haunting question, one that echoes long after you finish the book.